We hear about school shootings far too often. In fact, a California high school was placed on lockdown just this morning due to a possible shooting threat. And that follows a threat at Sweet Home High School in our area yesterday. Students are now starting to take control in these situations and give up their lives for the safety of their classmates. And while many are being remembered as heroes, KEZI 9 News reporter Jillian Smuckler looks into the effects that these acts are having on students.
One expert I spoke with tells me asking students to make life and death decisions in the midst of a shooting isn't fair, and it shouldn't be happening to those who are just trying to get an education. In 2019, there have already been 15 school shootings in the United States where someone has either been hurt or killed. And more often, we're seeing students take matters into their own hands. Earlier this week, Kendrick Castillo rushed the gunman at his Colorado school, giving his life so that his classmates had time to get away. And although his act was heroic and inspiring to many, experts are worried it's going to cause students to feel like they too have to give up their life if they're put in a similar situation.
It's going to be impulsive. It's going to be reactive when you're under threat. And it's not a well thought out decision. And I just don't think that a kid should be asked to make a life and death decision. I don't think their brain is wired for it.
Lee Richardson, founder of the Brain Performance Center in Dallas, Texas, says if children start planning that thought in their head, it's going to be very harmful. She says it's the school's responsibility to take care of a shooter, not the students. And she wants them to remember they shouldn't be involved in the decision-making process because they'll be more at risk of getting hurt. Coming up at 5, hear from a student who says she can't wait to graduate because she doesn't want to have to deal with the constant fear of a shooting happening at her school. Reporting at the University of Oregon, Jillian Smuckler, KEZI 9 News.
Today, a high school in California was put on lockdown because of a possible shooting threat.
Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but just the possibility is having a big effect on kids. There have already been 15 school shootings in the U.S. where someone was either injured or killed in 2019. KEZI 9 News reporter Jillian Smuckler looked into how these shootings and threats are affecting students.
You'll think about school shootings and it's tragic and it's really sad, but you don't really think it could happen to you. And then it starts getting closer and closer more often, and it just kind of hits home like this could be you. You could be dying.
Many students at the University of Oregon tell me they're scared a shooter's going to come and attack at any given moment, and scared that this problem is only going to get worse.
It seems like there's one happening almost every day. And it doesn't really make sense to me how it happens so often.
The street fair's on campus. The weather doesn't seem like it could be any better, but for some students at the University of Oregon, the fear of a shooter targeting places just like this one is enough for them to stay away.
I remember graduating and feeling really relieved, like at least now I'm at a high school and I don't have to worry about that anymore.
But now Reese is in college, and these fears she thought she got away from have only grown.
It's insane that that's what we've come to in this country, where we're teaching students how to fight back against someone that's trying to kill them.
Earlier this week, Kendrick Castillo gave his own life to protect his classmates from getting killed. When a gunman came to his school in Colorado, he charged at him, giving his friends a chance to survive. And while many are calling him a hero, students say that shouldn't be a standard they're held to.
It's us against the world, and students shouldn't have to feel like they are the only ones protecting themselves.
Lee Richardson, founder of the Brain Performance Center in Texas, says these students becoming heroes in these certain situations are damaging to kids' mental state, because the idea of having them choose whether they're going to lose their life or try and protect themselves shouldn't be made in that moment, especially at their age.
What a lot of times some of the schools are using the theory, run, hide, fight. It's that basic fight or flight mode, and you're not thinking real clearly when you're in that state. You know, when that adrenaline starts pumping out, it makes you, I got to decide. And whatever you decide, it's not well thought out.
Richardson says this is an unfair expectation and will ultimately put students more at risk. What runs through your head every day that you wake up to go to school?
It's frustrating, and I just think about how all the adults who are in charge of these things didn't have to deal with this when they were in school, so it doesn't seem like it's urgent enough to them because they didn't experience it, and they never will fully understand the fear of going to school and knowing that you might not come home.
All the students I spoke to seem to agree on one thing. They need to be there for one another in these situations. And they say they hope this generation that's grown up with shootings make way for a better future for their children. Reporting in Eugene, Jillian Smuckler, KEZI 9 News.